Hello, I'm Nadine and this is Rake Reads and Writes. And today's video is actually for the parents or the grown-ups of the tiny readers that we are raising. I'm a teacher and a parent, and recently I was talking about these leveled readers, and I just kind of wanted to show you how I use them at home and how it can help your early reader along the way to the joy and love for reading, which is the point, right? I mean, that's my point. Maybe it's not your point, but I think that's what it's about, because if kids find the joy and love for reading, then they're bound to be able to read. But before I start talking about the leveled readers, I do want to say that if your child is not reading by the end of kindergarten, take a breath. Do not panic. Kids develop these skills on their own timeline, and if we push it, then we'll have friction, and we don't want the friction, because then they'll find reading too overwhelming. Sometimes they're just not ready for it. I had readers in grade 2 that halfway through the grade 2 year, all of a sudden, boom, they were reading the books to me, and they weren't sort of stopping to sound them out like you would see in maybe a kindergartner or a grade 1 child. And they were just on their own timeline, but they do learn how to read, and so we don't want to push it, and we also don't want to panic if our kindergartner is not reading, because really in kindergarten it's a lot of foundational skills, and we hope that these foundational literacy skills are also being positively reinforced at home. So again, before the build up to these level readers, you want to make sure you're sort of developing a reading habit at home. So my kids love to read, and it's probably because I love to read. So let them see you read. I have a whole blog post about ways to raise readers. So it begins early, and it's going to start with them just holding a book. This is probably not going to be their first book they ever hold, because the baby books are like crunchy and colorful, and sometimes they squeak. So in the beginning, it's just about like, oh, what is this thing? I can hold it. If I open it, there's something colorful inside. And then with the baby books, they're usually like, oh, it feels interesting. I might want to put it in my mouth. There are books out there that they can put in their mouth. They're baby proof. So let's talk about level readers. Let's say you've built the foundation at home. You have sort of, your kids like to pick up books and you like to read with them. And so in kindergarten, my daughter was a very fast reader, early reader. She just did things early. And so by this time, we're more than halfway through the kindergarten year now. My daughter was reading at this point, but that's not like a standard, I'm not even comparing my kids, and you can't compare a student to another student, because every kid is just on their own timeline. And it may get frustrating for you, but that's just how it is with their brain development, and just so many factors to include there. So my son is about halfway through his kindergarten year, and so they're working on just sound connections, a lot of sound connections. Now what I mean by that is they're going to go through the letters and discover what sound they make. For example, an A doesn't say A, it says ah. So that's, in kindergarten, you start with ah, b, k. And they have, at least in our kindergarten program, they have little characters and actions that go with each letter. So, which really helps when they're starting to read these level readers, because sometimes I'll just give a hint, like if I want him to make a T sound and he's sort of stuck on, sometimes the font can even confuse them, because it's not a straight, like a lowercase t, you would think, meh, meh. But in some fonts and books, it goes, rop. So sometimes he thinks it's a J, which makes sense, because the font is different than what he's used to. So if he's stuck on, let's say, a T, all I have to do is this, and he knows, t, t, t. That's a tearful tap. Now, your kindergarten program might not look like that. It might be totally different, but that's where we're at. So I'm going to show you these level readers. So these are written by Dr. Julie M. Wood. And I really like these. There's 3 sets, and they follow a really logical progression. So you always sort of want to measure your child's progress, meaning how are they doing now versus 2 weeks ago? You're not comparing them to the other kids in the class or your friends' kids or the neighbors' kids. It's all just, where are they now compared to before? That's all you're really concerned about. So I'm going to show you these. These are Tug the Pup, my very first I Can Read. So this is box set 1. Box set 1, book 1, level A. And it goes through, then we've got box set 1, book 2, level A. And it goes through, etc., etc. Okay? Then we have box set 2. This one I just ordered. The bookstore didn't have it yet. Okay, and even you can see the titles are going to be progressing. So here we have, this is the first one you would read in this set, and it's just called Big Pig. I'll go through that one in a minute, but it's called Big Pig. Maybe this is Big Pig. Maybe the book is giving you a hint. Maybe we're going to find out who Big Pig is. Whereas this box set 2, we're even getting into longer titles. Now, Tug the Pup is brave. Okay, now my son would not be able to sound out this word yet, because in this word, brav, he could sound that out, but he wouldn't yet be able to connect it to, oh, Tug the Pup is not brav. Maybe that's brave. That comes later, at least for him. And then we have box set 3, flat tire. That's still a pretty simple. Tug the Pup and his shadow. And it goes through each. I have lost a couple of them. They're in the house somewhere. Okay, so let's go through. Let's take Big Pig. We're excited about Big Pig. We want to know, who's Big Pig? What does he do? Tell me about him. So you're going to gather your child. And it really helps to also sort of like get cozy with reading, get comfy. Like I bought the kids, and you don't have to do this, I bought the kids some reading pillows, and they can just walk around and pick a spot and hunker down with those. Or you can set up a little couch, or sometimes it's nice to, like, when they come home, I'll make a sort of like a reading, whatever. It could be blankets, cushions, and then I'll put a box of books or a stack. Usually there's snacks involved. And if you've ever been part of a book club, the snacks really help. So let's say you found a comfy spot. And I wouldn't do this before bed, just an FYI, because you want them to sort of start relaxing and getting into the mood of sleeping. So reading to them, I've made it, it's part of our bedtime routine that I read them a book. But I wouldn't do the sounding out at this, because you want their brain to just, I'm just going to listen to the voice of my grown-up, look at some pictures. You don't want them to get riled up again and start thinking and processing letters and stuff. So this is more at daytime, or, well, whenever you want to do it. Just don't do it before bed, unless you really want to. So this is Big Pig. Let's read about Big Pig. Can you sound that out for me? This is called Big Pig, but can you sound it out for me? So then he would go B-E-G. Big. He's already at the point where he's stringing those sounds together. And maybe your child will need some support with that. B-I-G. You can do 2 letters at a time. B-I-G. Big. P-I-G. P-I-G. Pig. Pig. Big Pig. There's Big Pig. And it's also important to point these things out. Like, you can overdo your excitement. That's okay. They love that. They won't love it when they're 10, but they'll love it now. Big Pig, look. He's so excited. What is he so excited about? This is Big Pig. I'm going to show you this. All right, very simple sentences. Big Pig, okay? Also important to point out, look how it repeats. Big Pig. Do those first two words look like these? Big Pig. And then they can sound that out. K-a-n, k-a-n, can, j-a-m, p. That's a trickier one. There's 4 sounds in that one. J, j, jump, jump. And then repeat. Always repeat. Repeat is great. Big Pig can jump. Oh, look at him jumping. Look at him jumping. And the books repeat as well. So eventually they'll see the pattern. Oh, these sentences all start with Big Pig. And when they see that, they can now read that. Big Pig can rid. Let's use the picture as a clue. What's he doing? He's riding something. He's riding. What's he riding? A tricycle? Do you have a tricycle? Or a scooter? What do you like to ride? Oh, it looks like Big Pig is riding a tricycle. What do you think that word might be? Big Pig can ride. Big Pig can ride. And I repeat again. Big Pig can. Try to sound that out. Also important to use that same language. Sound it out. Sound out the letters that you know. Skip. 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 Look, he's skipping rope. He's using a skipping rope. And it looks like the frog might want to join him. You would do the same. Big Pig can. Hop is a really not easy one, but it's a nice straightforward one. Hop. Look, now Big Pig and the frog are hopping together. Have you ever hopped with a friend? Oh, now this one's trickier. That Y, because Y is tricky, even for some grade 7s. Big Pig can fly. Now, they probably, well, maybe they can sound it out, but the Y is tricky because it has so many different sounds it can make. Big Pig can what's he trying to do there? He's got wings. What do we do with wings? We fly. So they can use that as a hint. Big Pig can fly. Now my son tries to guess the word without looking at it first. So I do make him go back and really sound it out. Oh. Oh, what happened? Well, Big Pig fell down. Let's read it. Big Pig can Now the EA combo there, that's not a kindergarten. Well, maybe where you are it is, but not where we are. Usually the EA buddies, we don't really cover that in kindergarten, but we can certainly help our kids with this one. Big Pig can, well, let's use the picture again. What's he doing? What is this? A thinking bubble. Have you seen that before? Oh, we see it in comic books sometimes. What's he thinking about? He's thinking about being in an airplane. What's another way we say thinking or imagining? Big Pig can dream. Big Pig can dream. He wants to fly, but he maybe can just dream about it. And then this part is really useful for you as the grown-up. Rereading the book together. So rereading is really helpful because now they'll start getting a bit of fluency. They know what these sentences are, and it really builds their confidence too, because if they go back now and read this again, oh, I actually remember this. So then, oh, I'm reading, right? They get more excited about it. So this is helpful. Take turns reading each page. What kind of character is Big Pig? Is Big Pig as big as he thinks he is? Why or why not? So these are kind of guiding questions for you at the end. And pointing out rhyming words. Big Pig. What words rhyme with other words in the book? Like jump, hop, and skip. Can you think of a word that rhymes with hop? Mop. Slop. Maybe. Big Pig. Big Pig. Or cat. There's one. Oh, she's right here. Nut the cat. There's so many words that rhyme with cat, so they have fun with that one. Big Pig can do many things. What can your child do? So it's really good to build connections to books too. If your kid really likes to skip rope or play with their friends, or where's that riding one? Ride a bike, ride a trike, ride whatever they ride, a scooter, skateboard. Connect that, whatever the character is doing, and you can do this with any book. Build connections so they have a personal connection to the book. Something that's happening in the book is something that maybe they like to do or something they're excited about, and that builds that excitement and joy for reading too. So that's the box set. Tug the Pup and all his friends, and that's how I like to set it up. So happy reading, happy literacy building, and I'll see you next time.